What up, though?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the Cool Check-In.
Together, we are Jalen Jacoby on ESPN2 and ESPN Radio.
We get it, people!
Yes.
What they want.
The Atlanta Hawks and Miami Heat were in a tight game going down to the wire. Hawks up by 4. Just over 3 minutes left. Drama, excitement, and this fan just couldn't handle it. Check her out back there. Blah! Right behind the Hawks bench. Just blah! Just lost it. Just lost it. So look at her man there, or her friend, not even noticing. He's so cool about it. There's cups everywhere. She just pukes all over the bench. Jalen Rose, what happened to this woman?
That is not called puking. That is a form of calling Earl.
That's
exactly what she did.
She earled all over the bench.
No question
about it.
about
You know, the players were all looking around like, what is that smell? And they're looking down, and suddenly some rivers of puke just start to show up between their sneakers. Oh, man. Oh, God. That looked like so much fun. I could watch that video all day, but we are going to move on. Jalen Rose, I'm very upset about something. You know how I don't get upset that much? This one really got me. You remember how after a couple lackluster All-Star games, the NBA said, we're going to switch it up. We're going to pick teams, pick up basketball style. We'll have 2 captains from each conference, and then they will just mix it all up. They'll pick whoever they want. It'll be like just like you do at the Y with the teams. We'll split them up. It'll be so much fun. We'll get to see who gets picked first, who gets picked second, who picks their teammates, who doesn't pick their teammates. I was so excited about this idea. It was just another way that the NBA was just advancing beyond other sports leagues by making things more entertaining and more fan-friendly. Well, guess what? The NBA sent out a memo, Jalen Rose. They're going to do the picks in private and not tell us the order in which the players were picked. What is happening? Why would they do that? I don't need to see an email that lists the teams. I want to see the captains pick the teams. Show the draft. 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 Should we keep going? You want us to keep going?
Show the draft.
Show the draft. Why isn't the NBA showing us the draft?
I don't understand. It would be awesome television, radio, podcast footage to use online. So many storylines. Where would LeBron James draft Kyrie? Is Russell and KD gonna play together?
I love this.
How
There's
many
so much.
Warriors are gonna be on the same squad? Like,
and here's another thing. Jalen, you're an ex-basketball player. You play in the NBA. Are you trying to tell me that you guys are so sensitive that it's going to hurt your little egos if you get picked last? You're an all-star. You're one of the best players on the planet. You've already been vaulted to the highest heights of the NBA annals. If you get picked last of the best players, is that really going to bother you? Would that bother you if you were an all-star?
well, there's a difference between being picked first or second versus being picked 23rd or 24th. And that could hamper somebody's image, damage them a little bit, get them trolled on social media, whatnot. But for great theater, you can air the draft. Think about it like this. The way people was watching LeBron James' decision, we would be just as interested in seeing who got drafted where.
The draft. You know what, Jalen? I'm going to go on a limb.
Show the draft. Show the draft. Show the draft.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to say this. I would rather watch a televised all-star draft than a televised all-star game. Trust me, I've been a television producer for almost 20 years. This is going to be better than the basketball. Show the draft, NBA. I would rather watch the draft than the game. I don't know why this is happening. And here's one thing I know about the NBA, one thing I know about the league commissioner, Adam Silver, one thing I know about intelligent human beings as a whole. They admit when they're wrong, and they correct their wrongs. This is wrong. This is a bad decision. NBA players that are all-stars, they're one of the best 24 players, 25 players on the whole league. They can handle it if they get drafted last. They can handle it. And something tells me that it's going to be okay.
I know about Adam Silver. It's not an absolute fact, but I think it's pretty close. that he loves Jalen and Jacoby's
every night.
program.
He watches Jalen and Jacoby every night. Every night before bed. And when he wakes up early, so we're on ESPN News, when he wakes up, he watches it again just to see if he missed something. You know what I mean? You know how some people watch Scarface 150 times? He watches every single Jalen and Jacoby episode over and over and over. He texts me after each one. Notes on my outfits.
Just think about it like this. Joey and Molly don't watch the show, but Adam Silver does.
He does.
And I know he sees this. Commissioner, there are a couple of things that's going to change. Eventually, it's going to be 1 through 16 seeding in the NBA playoffs. That's going to take place.
Show the draft.
Show the draft.
Show the draft.
Show the
draft. The producer wants to move on. I don't want to move on. Show the draft. Tweet the NBA. Tweet the commissioner on his fake burner account. Whatever you got to do. Just show the draft, NBA. Get this right. Moving on the night of Kobe Bryant's jersey's retirement in the Staples Center rafters, they went on and played some basketball. It was a great game. Kevin Durant actually won the game with this game-winning dagger. Guarded by Lonzo Ball, pull-up Hezzy Jimbo, got him. However, earlier in the game, he was the recipient of not one, but two poster dunks. This one from Nance was especially disrespectful. Jalen, you know how the game goes. You win the game, you hit the game-winning shot, but if you get dunked on twice, it might be more memorable. Which is more memorable long-term? Him getting dunked on twice or hitting the game-winning shot over a hyped rookie?
KD has been terrific with these 30, 35-point game, 10 assists, 10 rebound, multiple assist games, getting a couple of blocks. But I'm riding with you, Jacoby. He got put on the potty a couple of times. And those continue to run on loop. So I would say, however, the only thing that trumps that is hitting a game-winning shot on the road when you've been balling.
Did you just say put on the potty?
Yes.
That's one of the funniest things you've ever said.
That's what
I'm going to keep saying that for the rest of my life. I steal so much from you. I'm stealing that one. And I just have one more reminder about something. When we come back, we're going to tell you just how the World Chess Championships look super sexy. Show the draft. Show the draft. Show the draft.
Show the draft.
Wait a second. Passagassawakag River? Like a lot of times these rivers and these names are from Native American sayings, you know, tribes, and they kept with the traditional names. But if it starts with Passagassa, something tells me someone's kidding.
I know one thing. If it's Passagassa, that means they've been around Jacoby in the studio.
That's not fair. Finally, I farted in the studio. Great. You know what? That's the first time we've ever aired that. I farted in the studio. That's the first, and you know, so people play that back to me all the time. And it's always off wax. We've officially broken down the fourth wall here on Jalen and Jacoby. I'm so upset
in the studio.
about this that no holds barred. Everything's out in the open now. Everything's on wax now. Everything's on wax. I'm upset. We're ending the segment.
Yes, Reg!
Jalen, are you now going to attend the World Chess Championships?
That looks like something that could be on the Playboy channel. Seriously. That logo was not considered as it related to the kids. They may want to watch the chess championship, the participants that come so diligently want to learn the game. That looked like, where's the condoms?
Someone's going to get pregnant at the chess championships this year. There's going to be all kinds of babies. There's going to be a baby boom. Be like, what happened? It was the 2017 chess championships. 9 months later, a lot of babies. Moving on, back to more popular sport, the National Basketball Association. The Rockets just keep on winning. Last night, they were down big in the fourth quarter, but then went on a tear. Eric Gordon scored 17 points in the fourth. They dominated the Jazz in the fourth quarter for their 14th straight win. They are now 15-0. Win. Chris Paul puts on a uniform. Clint Capella was 10 for 12 from the floor. It really looks like everything is clicking for the Rockets while the Warriors have a lot of injury problems. Is it time to now consider the Rockets the favorite in the Western Conference?
I talked about this probably a month ago, on NBA Countdown, and I brought people behind the curtain to look at a Houston Rockets team that the last couple of seasons has been amongst the best, led by James Harden in the Western Conference. You add Chris Paul, Bob Moute, Tucker, the continued improvement of Capella, to go with Trevor Ariza. Now you can compete defensively and win games as well. They had to knock down shooters. I've said this for years. When you watch Eric Gordon, when you watch Ryan Anderson, they're not just standing at the three-point line like I did in launching. They're 2 or 3 feet behind the line. They were amongst the league leaders in shots that were like 25 feet last year. So they're giving mad space to terrific creators and ball handlers like Chris Paul and James Harden. It's been terrific basketball to watch. And yes, people should understand they legitimately now have a team that can play both ends of the floor. That would not surprise me if I'm looking up and it's a game 7 and we're in Houston trying to figure out if the injuries to Draymond Green and Steph Curry during the regular season come back to haunt a team that's on a 9-game win streak. That lets you know how well the Houston Rockets have been playing.
The Houston Rockets have been so well, and I think a lot of attention, and rightfully so, should be paid to the addition of Chris Paul. He literally has not lost a game in that uniform. But one addition they have is really just the improvement of Clint Capella. Clint Capella has been so good protecting the rim, so good rolling to the basket, so good catching lobs. The evolving of Clint Capella is really one of the things that is fueling this Rockets team into the stratosphere. Moving on to a couple teams that are playing a little bit less than expectations. The Blazers and the Timberwolves faced off. The Blazers had a big lead in the fourth quarter that they blew. Dame Lillard was mad after the game. You know what did not calm him down? He was reportedly called some anti-gay slurs by some fans outside where the visiting team bus was driving off. Let's take a look. I have a lot of questions about this. First, you saw he had his food in his hand, so he must have gone into the bus and then come back out to confront those fans. But most importantly, Dame, it's Minnesota. Where is your jacket? Why are you wearing a T-shirt? Why are you wearing a T-shirt in the freezing cold in Minnesota, Dame? My mom would not stand for that. She would say that you're going to get sick, Dame Lillard. Jalen, what do you think about this incident outside?
Well, first and foremost, the individuals that were harassing Dame Dollar need to be disciplined by the league. Just because you purchase a ticket to a game doesn't give you the license to disrespect me and or call me out of my name, especially in the context of if I wasn't wearing that uniform, and I bet if they were all walking down the street, they wouldn't approach the Oakland native that way. So don't do it then, number one. Number two, now I want to laugh a little bit. Dame, I know for a fact you wasn't holding your food. I know that for a fact. Seriously? What if them cats really would have wanted it? You know what I'm saying?
It looked like some Chinese leftover. He'll throw some lo mein at somebody. That's just how he opens up. He's also got a Gatorade and a water. How does food work out? Take us behind the curtain, Jalen. Where did he get the food from? Does someone go get him the food?
So in the league, Mark Cuban was one of the first owners that after the game would cater food to the visiting locker room as well as his own team. Usually teams that practice and or play in the same facility and or have a chef and or a kitchen, which most teams now have. That's inherent, especially if you have a young team. You want them eating right and being in the building constantly. For example, like you saw with Philadelphia when ESPN did their All Access. And so when you're traveling, however, sometimes teams don't do that for the road team. So either you can order something from a restaurant in that city. That's what we used to do, find a favorite restaurant and have them cater. Go get food from where the media eats, normally pregame and or halftime. But Dame looked like he got some catered road food. But either way, the Gatorades are there, the waters are there. When I first came into the league, it was more beer in the cooler than both of those put together.
Ooh.
But with that being said, now, Dame, you leave the bus, and I'm glad you got a chance to confront those cats. But you can't do it with the water and Gatorade
You
in your
gotta put a
hand.
jacket on, Dave. It's cold out
Without
there in
a coat.
Minnesota, man. Come on,
You're
you
gonna
gotta
get
put a
sick.
jacket on. If you went out on the bus to put the food down, grab a jacket and then go outside and yell at somebody. Coming up next on Jalen and Jacoby, if you're holding a bar or bat mitzvah in the tri-state area, there's a certain member of the Knicks that would be more than happy to entertain your children. That's next on Jalen and Jacoby. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. If you watch this show or listen to the podcast, you always get it first. It's time for Broken News.
To everyone else, it's breaking news. To Jalen and Jacoby listeners, it's broken news.
If you watched the show last week, everyone was talking about how Aaron Rodgers was going to come back and the Packers were going to, clean the table and they were going to win their last 3 games and make the playoffs. Here on Jalen and Jacoby, we looked you right in the eye and told you this is not going to go well. They're going to lose to the Panthers. Aaron Rodgers is going to get hit a lot, and then they're going to lose to the Panthers, and then they're going to put Aaron Rodgers back on the shelf. Guess what they did, Mr. Rose? You'll never believe it.
What did they do?
Exactly that. Aaron Rodgers was throwing interception after terrible interception, didn't look great, was being pressured by the Panthers on almost every drop back, and now the Packers have announced that he's back on the IR and he will not play the rest of the season. If only the Packers watched Jalen and Jacoby late at night on ESPN2, they would have avoided all of this. Moving on, Marshall Mathers has a new album out that I've listened to and that I've thoroughly enjoyed, and he's doing some interviews for it. He did an interview with Vulture magazine. They asked about his post-divorce dating life, and he told them that he has been meeting women at strip clubs, that's where he meets women, and that he has also turned to Tinder, the popular dating app. Led to me asking you, Jalen Rose, which is a better place to meet women, Tinder or strip clubs?
In person is normally the choice. So based on the question, I would have to say the strip club, except online you go www, and then it's international. You have more options. So I'll probably have to go with the internet.
Okay. Moving on. If you're in the tri-state area and you want to have a bar or bat mitzvah for your son or daughter, you can now hire Kyle O'Quinn of New York Knicks. Kyle O'Quinn of the New York Knicks makes $4 million a year, but he's got a side hustle where you can hire him to go to bar mitzvahs or bat mitzvahs, and he has a great time. And he said, trust me, these people know how to party. Jalen Rose, have you ever gone to a bar mitzvah in your life?
I have never gone to a bar mitzvah. I've never been invited to one, which I'm disturbed. This should still happen. Somebody should invite me. But more importantly, Kyle O'Quinn, keep getting them checks.
Keep getting them checks.
This is a hustle.
I respect side hustles in all forms. You just never have enough money. You know what? The playing career won't last forever, but you can always entertain young children at a bar bat mitzvah. Shout out to you, Kyle O'Quinn. Moving on. There's employees at a TCBY in Matthews, North Carolina. They're getting boxes. They get frozen yogurt boxes and, cups and stuff. And they're just opening up cardboard boxes. They open up a cardboard box at their place of employment. Inside, they find 5 pounds of medicinal. Jalen Rose, take me through the thought process. You're working at a TCBY. You open up the box. You see 5 pounds of medicinal. What goes through your head?
First and foremost, I'm not going to do the obvious and quit my job. That's the dummy move. But what I am going to do is I'm going to turn these lemons into lemonade.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Rose?
I'm going to get on the phone and call somebody that probably understands exactly what to do with this level of quantity that could turn that into a dollar figure that ultimately I could put inside my pocket.
I love that you said you weren't going to quit your job. And normally it's no, I'm not going to quit my job because that's not a life-changing amount of money, and I always want to have a job. It's good for my routine. But really, you're like, I don't want to quit my job. There could be another box next week. Who knows? The TCBY or whatever, they're fighting to open up boxes. They do not want to be in the floor. They're like, I'll work the stock room today. I'll work the stock room every single day. I'll work the stock room. They're fighting to be the one to open up those boxes in Matthews, North Carolina. Moving on. A gentleman, I believe in the Atlanta area, I'm not positive about this, and a lady were on a first date. and they enjoyed each other's company, so much so that they engaged in coitus, and they had an evening together where they just really enjoyed each other's company, so much so that the gentleman in this situation got a thank you card, like the kind you buy, and, opens up with an envelope. Inside the thank you card was just a respectful thank you, showing gratitude, and also a $10 gift card to Chick-fil-A. Jalen, the $10 gift card thank you after a night of coitus, is that a gentlemanly gesture that should be celebrated, or is that just straight up disrespect?
That's disrespect. I love Chick-fil-A just like anyone else, and I know it originated in the South, and it's a staple down there. But if you really want to step your game up and you had a terrific night, you have to give something from Waffle House.
You gotta go Waffle House there. And you gotta go bigger than $10. You know what I mean? Like, you can get a meal, but you can't get a meal for you and a friend. But definitely agree. Chick-fil-A, no. Waffle House, yes. That's it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow.
Smothered and covered.
Giving the people what they want. Jalen and Jacoby.